We want to determine the amplitude, period, and phase shift, but we also want to graph one cycle of y equals 3 sine of 2x minus pi, the whole thing minus 1. So now how are we going to do that? Well, we know we have a general equation, right? And we know that is y equals a sine times b times x minus c plus d. That looks really funky for a right bracket. Let's fix that. There we go. Now, the problem I have is what they've provided me for the equation does not resemble the general formula. So the first thing I need to do is I need to figure out how to get it there. So let's rewrite what they gave us. So I've got 3 sine 2x minus pi minus 1. So I need to have it so x is all by itself. So if I'm going to do that, I'm going to have to factor out a what? Well, I'm going to have to factor out the 2. So now 2 times what is 2x? Just x. Minus. Now what would I multiply 2 by to get pi? Well, I would have to multiply by pi over 2, and then that's going to be minus 1. So now it's in the exact same form as our standard, which is going to make this really easy, right? So if we do that, now what is a? Well, a is your amplitude, so that's going to be a 3. B is going to help us to find the period. So we know that B is 2, but to find the period is actually 2 pi over B. And we just said that B was 2, so we're going to have 2 pi over 2. So the period is actually going to be pi. Now what about C? We said C is what? Well, it's the phase shift. Well, now it's in the correct form, so the phase shift is just going to be pi over 2. And I know that it has to occur on a period of pi, so that's going to go from negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. And then D is what? D is a vertical shift. And in this case, it's a minus 1, so we're going to go down 1 unit. So how does that help me? Well, if I know what sine already looks like, which you do, this time it says that we have to have an amplitude of 3, and it's going to have to be shifted down 1 unit. So what I want you to do is I want you to first try to graph sine, and also graph this new one on here. It doesn't have to be exact to begin with. Ultimately, what you submit for your courses definitely does, but let's make sure we can get an idea of what the two look like. So your graph should resemble something of this nature. The pink line is the sine that we're looking for. The blue line is your regular base function. Now make sure what you really have important is it's down 1 unit, so you know it's going to cross at minus 1, and you know it's going to come up to 2 because I have to have an amplitude of 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. So make sure that your highest point is going to be at the 2.